All right, today we're going to be talking about inequalities. So we're on lesson 1-9. And again, this is inequalities. Okay, inequalities. Sorry, my board's uncalibrated again. Okay, what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at that first page. And do you guys see where it says application health? Can somebody read for me that first paragraph, application health? Chelsea? And that word is insomnia. Insomnia.
Okay. Insomnia. The inability to get enough sleep affects millions of Americans each year. Researchers have come up with some suggestions on how to avoid insomnia.
Okay, so how many of you have heard of the term insomnia? Insomnia? It's the inability to get enough sleep. Okay, so that is a condition that's saying at this time affects millions of people, and it probably affects more nowadays. But there are 4 tips that they give to people who may struggle with insomnia or not being able to get enough sleep. Did you have a question? Okay, do you want to read the first one?
Sure. Maintain a temperature of between 68 and 75 degrees in your bed.
Okay, so 68 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit in your room. How many of you like it a little cooler in your room when you're sleeping? Okay, and that means you can, if it gets a little too cold, you just cover yourself up. But you mainly want to keep it a little bit cooler so that your body's regulating properly. Number 2, who can read that next one? Davis?
Stop eating at least 2 hours before bedtime.
Stop eating at least 2 hours before bedtime. Now, my 5-month-old eats right before bedtime. I mean, he eats, sleeps, but he is a baby. For you and I, the longer we can separate bedtime or when we go to sleep and our last consumption of food needs to be at least 2 hours, okay? So that's something that some of you are saying, and I can already tell by the reaction, maybe it doesn't happen, but it would help you to go to sleep because your body keeps digesting and it's actively doing that. Do you guys know what happens when you eat and go right to sleep? You know all that energy that you're developing, where does it go? It gets stored. And it becomes that. Okay, the third one. Yes, Sarah? Curtis?
Avoid reading or watching television in bed.
Oh, man. Are you serious? So, avoid reading and watching television in bed. Because what happens is you're lying in bed, watching on your phone or on a device or on the TV, and you're associating lying in your bed with engaging in pictures or whatever media you're dealing with, or reading. So your brain is constantly moving, and when you lie down and turn off everything, it's this is where I engage in stimuli. Okay, so you need to separate that. Go to your living room, watch or read, then go to your bed and keep it separate there. And then lastly, 4th one. Okay, Betsy?
Go to bed and get up at the same times each day, even when you can sleep in.
Uh-oh. Get up and go to sleep at the same times, and get up even when you can sleep in. Okay, when I was a teen, I would get up 7 o'clock for school. But then on Saturdays, I would get up at 11. So 11 or 12. I remember hearing the birds chirping. I'm thinking, be quiet, birds. I'm trying to sleep. And it was bright out, and then Dad would come eventually. Well, he would tell me many times as I'm trying to sleep. And he'd say, get up, get up, get up, and then finally get up and do work now. But the thing was, I used to force myself, okay, it's 7 o'clock, no school, go to sleep. And then 8 o'clock, and then 10:30, 10:45, 10:55. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm making my sleep patterns go like this. Maybe the week I'm doing this, and that's not healthy for your body to adjust itself. So wake up at the same time, go to sleep at the same time, and that'll help you to regulate. Which means nowadays, I get up at 6:15, and I wake up on Saturdays at 6:15. Oh, beautiful. And then I look out the window. It's dark out, and I'm awake. But what that helps me to do is keep my sleep patterns going, and then I get stuff done at 6. I start studying for my class, sometimes I do your stuff, like your grades and all that. But it helps regulate. I didn't do that as a young guy, but I would recommend you do that because that'll help you out. Trust me. Sleeping until 11 didn't help me out. Yes?
Wait, so you said you go to sleep at 6
No, I wake up at 6:30. I go to sleep. I try to go to sleep like 10:30, 11. But sometimes that doesn't happen. But I try to get the same. 10:30 is my bedtime, and 6:15 is my wake time. And I'm trying to keep that pattern. And it doesn't always happen. Things happen, before, after bedtime and all that. So I have to adjust. But you try your best. All that to say, we're going to apply those 4 tips to this lesson here. Okay, do you guys see underneath that where it says learning the concept? And then do you see where it says say right, say right? Then on the bottom, say right, say right. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Okay, do you guys see where the first say is?
Yes.
Okay, can somebody read that first say? Okay, let's go here. Murphy?
T is less than 75.
T is less than 75. Go ahead and write that down. T is less than 75. What's that symbol right there? Looks like a V that got knocked over. But yeah, go ahead, Josh. It stands for less than. We're going to learn it as less than. Excuse me. Where did they get T is less than 75 from those 4 pointers? Do you guys see where they got those? That T is less than 75, Parker? Where did they get that number?
Because...
And you can look at the 4 tips. Good idea. Maybe someone help them out? That's okay. Josh? Yeah, you want to keep it less than 75 degrees, right? So that's where they got that number. Temperature is less than 75. All right, someone read for me the next say. Okay, Davis? T is greater than 68. Okay, what's this symbol right here? Greater than. How many of you have memorized it with like the alligator eats the bigger number, or the arrowhead points to the smaller number, whatever you want to say. Okay, those are good mnemonic devices, ways to memorize things, but you should start getting to the point where when you see that symbol, you automatically know it's this. And when you see the symbol, it's that. Okay, so make sure you guys memorize it. If you still need the alligator, that's okay. But eventually, the alligator has to go away. Or whatever. What's another way some of you have learned it? Pac-Man. Pac-Man eats the bigger number. Okay. Anyone else? The bird eats the bigger number. Why are all these animals or things eating things? I mean, I guess we're really hungry. Yeah, we love food. I guess that's a good one. All right. These next 2 symbols are a little bit different. So on page 46 at the bottom, do you see those 2 says and rights? You guys see those? Can someone give me that first say at the bottom? Sarah? Curtis?
N is less than or equal to 4.
N is less than or equal to 4. So this symbol right here is what? Less than. And I guess I'm asking, how do you say it? Less than or equal to. That's how you're going to say it on this symbol right here. That's a unique symbol, and the reverse is going to be similar. But let's all say this inequality together. So I'm going to say it once to help you out. N is less than or equal to 4. Okay, let's do it all together. N is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so that's the less than or equal to sign. Okay, that's a big phrase there. All right, the last say at the very bottom. M. Okay, Cole? M is greater than or equal to 8. Okay, so this symbol right here stands for what? Greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Okay, so I'm going to read it. M is greater than or equal to 8. So everyone together. M is greater than or equal to 8. Some of you didn't even say it. Let's do it again. Everyone. M is greater than or equal to 8. Most of you said it. Oh my. Okay, anyway. It's good to know how to say it because you're going to see it and then you're going to have to be able to think it in your mind. Oh, that's less than or equal to. Okay. How many of you think you can kind of get these on your own? Like, if you see them, you know what they are. Okay, I would say like maybe 2/3 of the class, maybe more. All right, this is what you need to do. Get your notes, put them into your book, and close the book. I'm going to test you out. And I'm going to call on you randomly. So be ready. Okay, I'm going to write the inequality up on the board, and then I'm going to call on one of you to read it. So when I write it, please don't just say it out loud. I'm going to call on somebody to read it. So the first one. Okay, so let's see here. I randomly select Rachel. Go ahead.
18 is greater than 13.
All right, how many of you agree that 18 is greater than 13 is what it says up here? And this is the inequality. By the way, good job. That's good, Rachel. Is that true? Is 18 really greater than 13? Okay, we call this a true inequality. This is true. Okay, everyone okay with that? All right, I'm going to write another one up here. Just read it the way I wrote it. Okay, so I randomly select Laura.
9 is less than 5.
9 is less than 5. Is that correct?
No. Or yes?
Oh, sorry. Is that the correct way to say it?
Yes.
9 is less than 5. Okay, but it was funny because a lot of you said no. Because is that true, though? Is 9 less than 5? No. So we call this a false inequality. So that was kind of tricky because it's stated 9 is less than 5, but that's false. You guys okay with that? All right, last one here. Okay, I randomly select Peter.
T is less than 75.
Okay, is that the correct way of stating it? T is less than 75. Okay, is that true or false?
We don't know. Well, we don't know.
What? Oh. Okay, let's see if you guys remember back to equations. Okay, I said there's similarity. Okay. All right, ready? Do you remember equations that have a variable? They're called blank sentences. Open sentences. You know what kind of inequality this is? Open. It is neither true nor false until I find out what t is, right? So if t is 73, is this true or false? True. If it's 80, true or false? So doesn't it depend what t is? If you have a variable in an inequality, it's called? Okay, do you think you need to know that?
Yes.
In fact, your homework, the first section says, state whether each inequality is true, false, or open. So here are the three. Open up your books, open up your notes. You can write these down real quick if you didn't already. And we're going to talk a little bit more about greater than, equal to, greater than or less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, because there are 4 symbols we're going to really get to today. Oh, sorry, I'll scroll up if you need it. Okay, let's look at example number 1. Can someone read for me the instructions for example number 1? Okay, Peter?
For the given value, state whether each inequality is true or false.
Okay, so here's our second type of problem, I should say. State whether each inequality is true or false for the given value. All right, so example 1, write this problem down, 1a. They give us r minus 8 is, what's that symbol? Greater than 7. All right, just by itself, is that true or false?
Open. No.
Open. I don't know. It depends on what r is. What did they tell us r is? R equals 12. Now, I'm going to see if r equals 12 makes this true or false. So I'm just going to write it so we can see what I'm thinking. I substituted 12 for r. And let's see, what's 12 minus 8? 4. Is 4 greater than 7? So this is true or false? False. That's your answer. Your answer is not this right here. Because what did they ask you to do in these problems? State whether it is true or false. So I stated false in this problem. Yep.
Can you just write false or like do it, show you your
On these, show me this step right here. And once I have this step, you can go down here if you need to, or just say false or true. Yeah, show me the substitution going on so I know you know what you're doing. All right, That one's not too bad. Look at B. Oh, who thought of B? 14 is, what's that symbol? Less than or equal to. If I'm looking at B on example 1, less than or equal to. This one right here. Then they give me 3s over 2. 3s over 2 plus 5. All right, let's see who's paying attention. Nick, right here, this inequality, true, false.
Okay.
Which one?
It's true or false? Look at this.
And that's an S, by the way. That's a variable S. So true or false? Which one is it?
I'm gonna say no, but I'm gonna say it's false.
Okay, he says it's false. Man, what do you have against S? Anyway, Sarah?
I think it's true because
Oh.
S equals 10.
Oh, so just looking at this.
Oh.
Yeah, without that S equals 10. Is it true or false? What do you think?
Open.
Excuse me? True or false?
Open.
True or false?
Open.
Excuse me?
I don't know.
Which one is it?
Open.
Sarah, remember what I'm trying to do to you here?
Oh yeah, open.
It's open. Okay. It's open. Is that true? Wait, is it false? No. It's open. Okay? This by itself is open. Why? Raise your hand. Why is it open? Annie?
It's open because it has a variable.
That's it. It has a variable. It's open. Because if I don't know what that is right away, then I can't say if it's true or false. Now, if I do this, now I can determine whether it's true or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute S with 10, so I'm left with this. And now I can determine whether it's true or false. And what I would say here is when you write this down, just go ahead and evaluate. If it takes 2 steps or 3 steps, fine. All right, what would I have to do first here, though? I don't know what to do here. I forget the order. Which operation should I use? There must be some order. Okay, Sarah.
You would do 10 off, and you
Oh.
just bring down the 14, and then
What symbol is that? What is it?
the open symbol.
It has a specific name. It's the blank or blank symbol.
It's the greater than or equal to.
Close. It's the less than or equal to. And that's right. You'll get it. Okay, so what do I do on the right side?
And then you do 3 times 10, which is 30.
Oh, okay. So I do that. What would I do next?
And then you bring down the thing, and then you do 35 because it's 15. And then 15 plus 5
And what's that?
is 20.
All right. Is that true or false?
True.
Okay, I heard true, but I'm confused. It is true, but there's something that's confused me, and I want to clarify this. You guys are saying that 14 is less than or equal to 20. You're saying that's true. Okay, I know it's less than, but is it equal to?
I think one is one.
Very good, Sarah. It's asking, is 14 one or the other? And the answer is yes, it's the less than 20. This symbol means it could be less than or equal to. So, right, is it less than or equal to 20? Yes, it's one of those. Let me give you an example of what that would be like for you guys. A lot of red shirts today. Emily, can I use your red shirt as an example? Okay, Emily, let me see. True or false? True or false? Emily is wearing a red or green shirt. True or false? Emily is wearing a red or green shirt. Okay, true. Wait, she's not wearing green. But I said red or green. Is it true or false that she's wearing a red or green? The answer is true. Okay, now, in Algebra 1, that word or is going to mean a lot more. Or means more. Okay, but the whole point is, do words matter in math? Yes. You remember how I wrote down less than or equal to? Why do you think I spent so much time writing that down? I could just said it. It's because that word or. Can you finish that?
Because I was gonna say if you wrote just the symbol, then you wouldn't know what it meant.
Yeah, you might have an idea, but you don't know the full meaning, and then it won't help you later down the road. So I'm trying to help you out for next year as well. Okay, how many of you are good on this so far? Saying true or false that they give you what the variable means? Okay, so far so good. All right, last concept on page 47. Do you guys see that chart with the 4 symbols? And then some words underneath? Speaking of words, there are a lot of words on that chart. Okay, the first phrase under each symbol is what that symbol is called. Okay, so what's the symbol in the first column called? Davis? Less than. It says right there, less than. What's the symbol in the second column scout called? Greater than. So, it's right there. What's the symbol in the third column called? Sarah Curtis?
Less than or equal to?
And what's the last column's symbol called? Chelsea.
Greater than or equal to?
Okay, everyone get those? Like, those are the basic ones. Uh-oh. Look at the less than symbol. What other phrase can refer to the less than symbol? Cole? Fewer than. What? 2 phrases. And when you thought that was bad, look at the greater than symbol. How many ways can you see the greater than symbol written out with words? 3 different ways. More than, exceeds. Oh, but you know what? Those aren't that bad, guys. They're really not that bad. The symbols I really want you to focus on understanding in words are going to be the less than or equal to. All right, less than or equal to is one name, no more than, and the tricky one, at most. What? That less than or equal to symbol can be translated at most. Why? Sorry, is that? No, that's the right one. Did they mean that? Did they switch it around? Okay, what do you think, Josh?
Well, a lot of times you say at most 60 minutes max. And then, I don't know.
No. Great, I'm going to use that. Okay, we're going to say this. This first test on Tuesday, is going to take at most 60 minutes. Okay, at most 60 minutes. What do I mean by that? It can take a maximum of 60 minutes or any time under that, right? So let me write that as a statement.
Saying like it's equal or less.
This is what I'm saying with an inequality. Your test is at most 60 minutes. It can be 60 minutes or below, 59, 58, any time below that. That's what the word at most means. You see how it's kind of tricky? Because you're thinking at most isn't that greater than? No, it's less than or equal to.
Well, also,
Yeah.
also helps if like you say like to yourself like it's no more than like 60 minutes, like no less, no more than 60
Yep.
minutes.
And that means this right here, right?
Yeah.
X is less than or equal to 60, so no more than would also fit. Okay, and then the other one, for the greater than equal to, what's the tricky phrase on that one, you think? Let's look at the phrases. Which one do you think might be the trickier one? Cole?
At least.
Oh, at least. What? And again, like I said, it sounds like these should be switched, but it's not. Okay, I think in South Carolina, you can be 16 to get your driver's license. You can get your permit at 15, but your driver's license at 16. Does that sound reasonable? Okay, so let me give you a statement. You need to be at least 16 to have a driver's license in South Carolina. Is that true? That's a true statement. So I would say your age must be greater than or equal to 16. Is that true though? So can you be 16? And then anything above that. So I say you got to be at least 16 means that and above. So can you be 17, 18, 93? A young 31? Okay. Anything below that is not fitting at least. Does that make sense with at least at most? Those are tricky. Questions? How about this? If you're like, Mr. A, that totally went right over me. You need to memorize this. And you need to memorize that. At most means less than or equal to. At least means greater than or equal to. Why am I spending so much time on this? I wonder. Maybe your homework will share more insight on that. Okay, let's do one last activity, or one last set of problems. On page 48, I'm going to make sure you guys get this. So page 48. Okay, look at number 10. It says, translate each sentence into an inequality. How would you translate number 10? And I'll write it out the way they wrote it. A number is less than 6. All right, a number is less than 6. How do I write that into an inequality? Well, first of all, do I have a variable?
Yeah.
I don't. They didn't give me a variable. What do I do? Make one up. Okay, who wants to help out? All right, Davis?
So
What variable do you want? Your choice. N. What a great letter, Davis. Okay, so how would I write an inequality that says a number is less than 6?
okay, so you do n, and then you put less than.
That one?
Sign, and then you put 6.
Whoa. That's it? Yes, that is it. Mr. A, what if I picked X? Then you should have written X is less than 6. Mr. A, but I picked S. S is, okay, do you get it? A letter is less than 6. How did I know it was this symbol? That phrase right there. If you're looking at the chart, where does less than go? This symbol right here. You see how they match up? You're like, Mr. A, this is easy. Okay. Number 11. Someone read that for me. Number 11. Okay, Murphy.
A dozen eggs must weigh 27 ounces or more to be labeled extra large.
Okay. How do I write an inequality with that? I'm confused. Chelsea?
You do 27. And
Go ahead.
27 with the greater than, and then the letter.
You pick a letter. A good letter I would pick is like D. There's only one thing here. You said 27 greater than D. Okay. That would be the reverse of what you're trying to say. Always stick with the variable first. So what do you want to say? D. We'll just pick D. D is, so a dozen eggs must weigh 27 ounces or more. So what symbol would fit 27 ounces or more? Yep.
Would it be,
D is blank.
D is, would it be the little, or like,
So it'd be
equal,
this one.
and then the line under it?
Uh-huh. What number?
7, and then you get 27.
That's it. The dozen eggs must weigh 27 or more. Okay, so 27 or more. Does that make sense? The weight of the dozen can be 27. It can equal 27, or it has to be greater than 27. So you have to think about these guys. I'll just like put something down. And the letter comes before the number, usually. Okay, we're going to get to where it switches around, but not yet. Okay, questions on these? It's tough. Look for the keywords. The other problem should be pretty straightforward. Keyword, keyword. Okay, you guys good? All right, turn off.